So our L2 engineer at NOC is Magdalena Kim, and her challenges are how to verify the local Wi-Fi coverage challenges from NOC, because the NOC is located in one particular country while the operation is global. This is to avoid the typical scenario of sending a local IT personnel to the site measuring the Wi-Fi coverage, which is very expensive and time consuming. Then comes the challenge for her is to understand of the 50,000 clients that are being served per day, what is connected to the wireless network today, and in scenarios where there is a specific user reporting bad or slow Wi-Fi experience, how can that be determined sitting at the NOC? So if we take a look at the ticket that Magdalena just received, and there is the URL, and dive directly into NetOps, where it shows indeed there is a critical alarm on this particular device. This is a Aruba Wi-Fi controller. As I can see from here, yes, there has been some availability challenges on this. There are various events that has happened, but if I look at it from a CPU and memory utilization percentage, it doesn't look bad. Earlier in the day, yes, there was a latency problem on this particular access point, which can possibly explain the threshold violation, but its reachability has never been a question. This access point is serving two SSIDs in 5 and 2.4 gigahertz into specific channels. So overall, nothing looks much alarming here. So let's take a look beyond here from the radio metrics. How exactly is the Wi-Fi performance of this particular access point? Now we can see the noise floor for both the radio frequencies is very good. The utilization percentage also looks okay. It's obviously understood that looks like there are some older devices often connecting to this particular access point. That is why utilization on 2.4 gigahertz is a lot. The bytes transfer, however, is mostly happening on the 5 gigahertz network. That is expected. The power transmission looks good, no problem. However, we see there are some packet drops happen at certain period of time, which essentially coincides when there was a lot of utilization spike on the 2.4 gigahertz network. Now all of these is now being diagnosed by Magdalena remotely without sending a person on site. Now from here, trying to answer the question, who is connected to this particular access point, Magdalena can go right now to this particular client's view and can take a look at who are the people or the devices that is connected to this particular access point. Now, for example, if there is a specific case where we want to troubleshoot, let's say on one particular location there is a challenge, then how do we do that apart from getting a ticket? Even for that, what we can do is we can come to once again the Wi-Fi help page and can figure out by the naming convention of the access points. Say like for example, this is a building 1 3rd floor of a particular facility. We are looking at all the access points. So similarly, if we go to an access point here, which is identified by the naming convention, from here, which is we know in a particular office location, we can see on the clients list, for example, all the laptops and the usage that has been happening here. For example, if we take a look at this particular client, which seemingly is a MacBook possibly, we can see from a user perspective, this user is essentially working in an area where the signal to noise ratio is very good, so there is not much interference, the throughput is good, there is as such no challenge in here. And if I want to historically look at this particular user, what's happening, I can also see how this user has been moving throughout the day between different access points. Like for example, this user at this point was attached to the access point in a different building, then he moved to a different building and started working here and possibly moved from ground floor to third floor. So we can track at a user level all the association, disassociation, and in a particular location, what are the challenges that a user is possibly facing sitting at the NOC, and effectively triage any Wi-Fi experience problem with the lowest MTTR.